Okay, 5:15. 50 degrees, slightly rainy. Oh, and a little layer of ice on there, breaking through. And here we go. Another day. Man, it's all froze together. Yeah, I guess that ice is a little colder than it said. As I stir it up. Alright. So the adrenaline, noradrenaline, starting to pump. I feel my heart rate going up. Feel blood pressure going up. And man, this dang ice is not cooperating. And we gotta get down in this. Good and cold, 37 degrees. And here we go with another discussion on the goodness of God and what He's done for us. Ooh, boy, flight or fight or freeze response. Bumping like crazy. Shortness of breath setting in. Bronchial tubes dilate. And prefrontal cortex begins to shut down a little bit. All right, I'm not deep enough here. Okay. Yeah, that takes your breath away. Now, talk a little bit about, a little more about this anterior mid-cingulate cortex and how it is affected. There's a story, a quote, I guess, that is attributed to Sitting Bull, and tells a story or an illustration, really, of two dogs inside of him. One is mean and evil, the other is kind and good, and they're constantly fighting each other. And he says, when I'm asked which one wins, he said, the one I feed the most. Well, that makes a little sense, given what we know about the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. If we do the things that we don't want to do but should, or we don't do the things we do want to do and shouldn't, that mid-cingulate cortex grows. It's like feeding that kind and good dog, and it wins. And the more the mid-cingulate cortex grows, the stronger our willpower gets, or the stronger that dog gets. In Romans chapter 7, starting around verse 17, I think, Paul talks about this fight, the inner man and the flesh. And he says, I know that in me dwelleth no good thing. Not exactly what Sitting Bull said, but the illustration seems to fit fairly well. And he says, the good that I want to do, I do not. And I do the things that I don't want to do. Essentially, the same fight, the same struggle. And Paul says, worse than Sitting Bull, O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death? I thank the Lord Jesus Christ for the salvation that He has given me, the victory that He's given me over this. And in 1 Corinthians, I think it's chapter 9, Paul said he keeps under his body. He says, they that strive for the mastery are temperate in all things. That word temperate is self-control. And that self-control is preventing myself from shivering like I'm wanting to do right now. Man, it's only been, I think it's only been 4 minutes. I'm already shivering. And I've decided not to tell the temperature of the water that I'm getting in each day because it gets competitive. And that's not what this is about. This is about the benefits of cold water immersion, trying to encourage folks to get out of the comfort zone. And that's what this temperance is. We love comfort. And tend to do everything we can to stay in it. Comfort, joy, excitement. Whew, man, my body wants to get out of this bad. Speaking of comfort, and we avoid discomfort at all costs. Maybe not at all costs, but we try to avoid it, which is why we don't exercise. That's why we avoid the cold and gravitate towards the warmth and ease of sitting on the couch, watching TV, scrolling through social media. These kind of things are comfortable, and they cause an adrenaline release, especially scrolling through social media. Smoking causes an adrenaline release. I think it's 2 times. Adrenaline spike over baseline. The problem is it goes away quickly. These cold water immersions also cause an adrenaline increase. Smoking, I think, is 1.5 times. Sex is 2 times. And who doesn't enjoy that? All right, a little adult content here. But these cold water immersions also cause an adrenaline spike that lasts for hours, a couple of hours. In many cases, and could be longer than that. The studies ended after 2 hours. And anyway, the adrenaline increase, the dopamine, yeah, saying adrenaline meant a dopamine. It's hard to concentrate. Dopamine increase is 2 times from cold water immersion and lasts for hours compared to the short spike that you get from everything, or just about everything else that we seek. Anyway, the increase is 2 times over baseline. So Paul says, I keep under my body. And they that strive for the mastery are temperate in all things. They exercise self-control. There are times life is comfortable, and we have to have that rest. There's a book written, I've forgotten the lady's name that wrote it now. Probably haven't forgotten, just can't get my mind to focus on it. But anyway, on stress. The upside of stress, positive side of stress, something like that is the title. I may have the wrong book, actually. But anyway, the idea is stress plus rest equals growth. You have to have both. Rest is comfortable. Stress is not. But you can't grow without both. You have to have stress. And you have to have rest and recovery, so that your body can strengthen itself for the next stressor. And the stress has to increase to have the growth. Now either you're growing, you're either getting better, or you're not. But nobody stays the same. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. You're either growing or shrinking. And it doesn't matter what age you are. This is true. As we get older, health is harder to maintain. Things just don't work like they used to. And we get worse. It doesn't matter what we do. It happens. Our bodies fail. They're only temporary. Temporary houses for a soul that's going to live in eternity. Either live in eternity in heaven or die in damnation for eternity in hell. The lake of fire, actually. But the bodies give out. Nevertheless, we can slow that progression down. We can have an improved quality of life, striving to maintain. But we have to get out of that comfort zone. We have to exercise temperance and do the things that we don't want to do that are good for us, and not do the things that we do want to do that are not necessarily good for us. Overeating, binge watching Netflix, smoking, alcohol, all those things are bad for us. The ease of prepared food, as opposed to the work it takes, the effort it takes, extra effort it takes to eat more natural food and prepared ourselves, is all those things beneficial. If something tastes extremely good, we want to overeat, tend to eat it fast. None of those things are good for us. Exercising that temperance is very helpful. All right, so I've been in this thing for, it looks like about 10 minutes, maybe longer. Can't track it. Yeah, just about. It's time to get out. Appreciate you listening. I hope my rambling is somewhat helpful and encouraging. Not saying you need to get in a cold water immersion, but do something today. Just do something that's uncomfortable and beneficial. Start a pattern, a habit. And just a little bit, baby steps. I didn't start out with a tub full of ice. I started out with a bathtub with just cold tap water in it. And maybe that's too much for you. Maybe you do lukewarm water in a bathtub and get in it. It's just baby steps, but you can get better. Take wherever you're at and just start from there. Acknowledge where you're at. Be honest with yourself. And remember, your comfort zone is going to shrink. It's not going to stay the same. So you're going to be less and less comfortable in the same environment. Eventually it shrinks to the point that you're not comfortable at all. You're always sick. You're always feeling pain. Nothing feels good. And it's because you've allowed your comfort zone to shrink. And God will give you that thorn in the flesh to get you moving. You can resist it and suffer and have a very poor quality of life. Or you can make the commitment and exercise that self-control. All right, you can probably hear the shivering going on, and I gotta move and get out of here, or I won't be able to. All right. My hands are numb. Ooh, my arms are numb. I stayed longer than I should have. Good thing it's 50 outside. I'll warm up a little bit. Okay. That's pretty intense. I can tell you that water warmed up 10 degrees from where it was when I got in it. At least according to the thermometer I got floating around in there. That's pretty significant. means I lost a lot of body heat. I have to see if my thermometer reflects that when I get in. Now, according to Andrew Huberman and others, you want your body to, for maximum benefit anyway, you want your body to heat up on its own. That doesn't mean you stay in a cold environment and try to get it to heat up, but you wrap up, put dry clothes on, and you don't sit in front of a heater that soars or turn on a heated seat, but you let your body take advantage of the clothes and heat itself up. That can take a while, especially when you get very cold. What I'm gonna do is get my gym clothes on and go to the gym and get a workout in. And it takes me a good 30 minutes, even while working out, to warm up. And I work out fairly intensely. So I might be cheating the system a little bit, but you know, movement gets things going. Y'all have a good day. And get out of your comfort zone.